Jack, what do you care more about? Money or love?
Money.
Right.
100%. Love doesn't pay my bills.
Money does.
Yes.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you. I wasn't questioning
Money does.
that. I wasn't questioning.
Yeah, obviously it does.
Okay, well, today we're going to be talking about prenups. I love a good prenup. I love talking about prenups. Power to the prenup.
Power to the prenup. Bumped once again for the prenup.
Anyways, and whether they ruin romance, okay? We'll be looking at a few examples with Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey, Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. So let's just get straight into it, okay? Hi, I'm Sarel.
And I'm Jack Remmington, and this is Famously in Love, the podcast where we put the life and decisions of celebrities under the microscope.
We analyse all of their behaviours and find out what we can learn from these unrelatable stars.
Nothing is off limits.
From BBC Sounds, this is Famously in Love. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about prenups, okay? So I think we should start off by, getting everybody up to speed with what a prenup is.
Yeah.
Right? Explain.
Cool. Okay, sure. So a prenup is basically a division of assets before you get into... Does it have to be a marriage?
All right, Oxford. You didn't have to go division of assets.
You asked.
Bloody Nora.
And it's basically just an agreement that if things basically go sour, there's already written, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
In the UK, it can also include division of custody and childcare and finances towards that. In America, it doesn't involve that.
I did not know that, so thank you for that. I think also it should be noted that it's prenup, so it happens before you've walked down the aisle. Prenuptials. Before you walk down the
agreement.
Aisle. And it just kind of helps people, in my personal opinion, to figure out, whilst we're still in love with each other, if things just don't happen to work out for us, boohoo, sad times, this is what will happen with our money and our assets, right?
We're very in agreement with that.
Right.
I think it's just a no-brainer.
You have to. Prenups in the world of celebrities are particularly fascinating. So I've got a couple of examples for us to look at. Let me explain the era first.
Yes.
2014. Ice Bucket Challenge. Did you ever do that?
No.
I did.
Oh.
The Met Gala after party, Solange and Jay-Z in the lifts.
Of course sometimes shit goes down when there's $1 billion in an elevator.
Of course.
Duh.
Duh. Chokers are in fashion. Frozen Let It Go is absolutely everywhere.
I sang that to you yesterday and you told me to shut up.
Shut it.
Shut it, please.
Shut it. The couple we're going to look at is the former basketball player Dwayne Wade and actress Gabrielle Union. Chef's kiss. They've been married since 2014 and they signed a prenup. Gabrielle insisted on this. Okay. She said, I've been married before.
Queen shit.
He was also married before. They were both, previously divorced. Yeah. Gabrielle didn't have a prenup with her ex, and she said, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah. We're going to have a prenup. Yeah. They pay for things jointly, half and half. We will also circle back on that, so we're just going to put a pin in that because I have thoughts on that.
And anyway, I have some thoughts on this specific
thoughts
situation.
On this.
Yeah, okay.
But everything is 50-50. The house, the children, down the middle, okay? They also have their own responsibilities too. If she wants to take herself on a shopping spree, she can do so, and himself, and she looks after her family, he looks after his family. Yada, yada, yip. They've both openly spoken about how happy they are that they got a prenup.
And they don't stop talking.
They do.
They love an interview. They love a podcast.
They love to tell us about their money.
They love to boogie.
They do. Gabrielle said in a 2015 interview for Women in Hollywood, when they're coupling, everything is about the brand. Everything is about latching onto a rising star. So you kick your heels up. That's never been my story ever. I want to make it clear that I have in no way hitched my wagon onto his star. I have my own wagon and star.
I said, Mom, I am a rich man.
Exactly. It's giving Cher.
Yeah, it's giving Cher. You do a very good Cher impression, actually, don't you?
No, I don't. So don't make me do that. Don't.
Wagon wheel with Tootsie.
So Gabrielle is steadfast on the fact that, listen, I make my own money. I'm a girl boss. Yeah. I want a prenup. I want to protect my assets. I also don't want him to think I want any of his assets. And she stands by this.
Which I rate.
Listen, I will say this. I love a prenup, stand a prenup. But I feel like, let's be for real, okay, for a second. You can protect your assets before you've met me, because I did not play a part in your success as a basketballer before you walked down the aisle. Yeah. After you said I do, every dime you have made is 50% mine.
Yeah.
I want to make that abundantly clear.
Particularly when you've got children as well.
Absolutely.
Like,
Even if we don't have children, if I've never seen you a day in my life, the fact that I'm still your wife, I've said I do, you get 50% of whatever I do, I get 50% of whatever you do. It's split down the middle. What's mine is yours, baby. Okay? So this whole, we split everything 50-50 whilst he's like a multi-millionaire, I just feel like isn't the best way to divvy up assets.
No, and I think for people listening who don't know much about them, she obviously is a successful actress, and I think she does some production too.
Yes.
But her wealth is not on the same level as his.
No.
And so to have this kind of on the surface, like girl bossy mindset of 50-50, I don't want a man paying for me. I understand.
Slay.
It's very easy checkpoints of like, yes, brilliant, feminism.
Exactly.
But it actually it feels like it boils down almost to him being like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Because I just get to like
eat my money.
And the money like in what he has to spend in comparison to his multi-millions is a much smaller chunk than what she for the same amount has to spend compared to her.
Exactly. Also
some
millions. But not multi.
Yeah.
Prenups are great for if a divorce happens.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why we have to punish me.
As if in the marriage.
In the marriage.
Why did you marry me? If we've come to, if our whole life is this weird corporate interaction.
Exactly. And I feel like...
It's like you're being billed for hours like a lawyer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I believe in equity over equality because I don't think it should be equal 50-50 whilst we are married. I think it should be, if you earn X amount and I earn X amount, we do it via percentage.
Yeah.
Because 50-50 of my 50 is way less than your 50.
Exactly.
So I should pay 20 so that you can pay 50 so that it matches. And then everybody's paying this.
Sarel's very good at maths. So 20 plus 50 obviously equals a nice round 70, which is always a helpful figure to work with when dealing in percentages or finances. I think what she's trying to say is, pull your finger out your arse, Dwayne.
Listen,
in mathematical terms.
Mathematical terms, 70.
Yeah.
So, listen, it works for them. That's fine. I love that for her. But I want to ask, do you think that prenups matter more if you're famous as a woman? So, like, if you are Gabrielle Union status, do you think it is important for you to have a prenup? Or is it like, we're both rich, I don't think...
What do you mean for her it's important to make it not look like she's a gold digger?
Yeah.
I actually don't think it is. I don't think anybody would have cared. If we only care about their prenup because they bang on about prenups all the time, we wouldn't have known. Like, think about all the celebs that are in marriages. I don't know what Beyonce and Jay-Z's deal is.
No.
Also don't care.
No.
Dwayne and Gabrielle have made it, like, when I think of prenup, I think of them, and when I think of them, I think of prenup.
Yeah.
And that's their prerogative. That's absolutely fine. But I don't think it mattered more, really, no.
People are ears up when they say prenup when it's someone who hasn't come from money marrying someone with money.
Oh, 100%.
As opposed to two successful people in their own right. I don't care about your prenup. You're both rich. Even if you divorce, you're still going to be able to make money. You're still going to be, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's hard, isn't it? Because I think in a lot of situations, away from these two, because they're still working a lot, well, I'm aware she is. What does he do nowadays? Does his money just make money?
He's retired, yeah.
That's what I mean,
think he's like invested his
money.
One
of them, which is clever.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, a lot of the time, you find that historically the man is the one with the money. Mm-hmm. He wants a wife actively who isn't going to work.
Yes.
So then it wouldn't really be fair to insist on a prenup that's a division of assets that you came in with if you're basically saying, I want you to be a kept woman.
Yes.
Like, I'm up to season 6 of Real Housewives of Orange County at the moment.
Course.
And Alexis is married to Jim, this rich bloke.
Yeah.
And he's like, I literally am paying for your lifestyle because you will not get a job.
Yeah.
You will be the mother to... It's a really toxic situation.
Weird one.
It's a common one, though.
Yeah.
You will be the mother to my children. You will do... and she's very much, he's my king. It's my duty on this earth, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the point is, if and when they split up, and I know that they do eventually, if they'd had a prenup, don't know if it did or not, she'd be back to square one.
Yeah.
You have very little to say for yourself in terms of a CV work-wise because you said, I've spent the last 15 years being a housewife, which is totally fair enough. I'm not knocking that. But to not have the financial security and therefore to be so tied to this man, which again, a lot of the time ends up leading to different forms of abuse because he knows that you have no leg to stand on if you were to leave.
Yeah.
That's when it's uncomfortable,
an issue.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, for famous women who have like, you know, their own money, it's slightly different. But do you think they have more to lose or gain in terms of public perception?
Yeah, because unfortunately, like, misogyny is pervasive, isn't it? So
because I think when Gabrielle Union said the whole, we do everything 50-50, all the men were like, yeah, that's a woman.
Right.
Get away from me. Go fight in a war. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Go and fetch some sticks.
Go and build
Make
something.
a fire.
Go be a productive. Yeah, that's a woman. No. Because also it's like the Barbie monologue. It's like, be soft, but don't be soft. Work, but don't work. I want a housewife,
like
but I also don't.
Chimamanda, we can teach girls to shrink themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So can you put lawyer Sarel hat on then?
Okay.
And help me work out that thing. So like, for instance, I've got a friend whose dad is very well off and came up from not being very well off.
Okay.
And his wife was incredibly pivotal in his up.
Yeah.
Every sound decision that was made business-wise, she was the one who made the decision and was the sounding board. She was phenomenal. And it was fine, they didn't split up, but what would happen if they were to, like, how do you then go about proving that when it's like, there's no signatures there's no, I agree, I've advised him here. It's like, bed pillow talk, or it's you've made breakfast and gone, I was thinking about what you said last night and I think you ought to do this, and then he ends up making 10 million off it, which goes to the household and you're married and it's fine. How does that then work? Because obviously, like, Jeff Bezos' wife got half, didn't she?
Yeah.
And most people seem to think that's fair because she was that person who...
She was his sounding board.
Right, exactly.
Like, rightfully so.
As so many women are.
Exactly.
So how do you go about that then if...
There's a prenup in place.
Yeah, because if the prenups, because it then basically disadvantages the woman in that situation. If the prenup says, so you're saying it's 50-50 from this point, that's how you do it.
So the prenup stipulates anything he's come in with, let's say he's come in with a tenner, I've come in with £5, right? Whatever he's come in with, he gets to keep that. I don't want a dime of it. I've done nothing to gain that. What then happens is, in the prenup, it stipulates whatever is made from the day we both say I do is split 50-50.
Is that, do we know how common that is?
Within prenups?
Yeah.
It is very common. However, it's so easy to come out of a prenup, which is why you then have to back yourself with a post-nup. It stipulates that, like, before we get married, this is where we are. But in the event that we make money and we need post-nuptials, this is...
So you do the post-nup at the time that you do the prenup.
But it makes it more ironclad because then you've got like two sets of documentation where it's like, it's not just like wishy-washy, like, oh, should I make money? You can get 50. Because he could then be like, oh, okay, you are my sounding board, but where's the proof? Or she could be like...
That's what I mean.
Yeah. She could be like, oh, I gave birth to X amount of kids and I couldn't work.
Okay, great. Well, then that to me is excellent.
Want to delve into more celebrity stories?
Well, Stacey Dooley and Larry Dean have got you covered as they dive into the most juicy and downright absurd court cases and controversies, both in public opinion and in court, on their podcast, Famously On Trial.
Listen to every episode on BBC Sounds.
We have just been informed that Dwayne's net worth publicly, which, by the way, is always generally lower than it actually is.
Yeah.
170. And Gab's... Mil. Yeah, $170. And Gabrielle's is 40. So it was not a million, you know, it's more than 4 times more.
And also, can I just say, I know somebody's going to be like, oh, I would kill for 40 mil. That's its principle. Because with this 40,000... All right, Jesus.
Thou shalt not kill for 40 mil. I'm sure that's like the second commandment. That's my 7th amendment, right. Second commandment. Oh, yeah. I commend you for that.
Oh, my goodness. So I think a lot of people will be like, oh, 40 mil. But again...
A lot of people will be like, what?
40 mil. 40 mil.
A lot of people will be like, oh, 40 mil.
At the end of the day, it's principle because it could be 40k, it could be £40, but he still earns more.
Khloe Kardashian herself said in 2011 to E! News, everybody needs a prenup. Yeah. I mean, I don't care if you make $5 or $5 million. In this day and age, people are crazy. You never know. You have to protect yourself. It doesn't mean you don't love them. I would argue, actually, it means that you love them more.
Exactly. And I love you so much that I know that should we have to go through a divorce, emotions are going to be high.
Yeah.
And we are both going to be versions of ourselves that we don't recognize because we are hurt people.
Yes.
So,
and what do hurt people do?
They hurt people.
They hurt people.
So instead of hurting you... Third commandment. So instead of hurting you down the road, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold your hand right now.
Hurt you a little bit now if you get upset by it, but trust me, it's for the greater good.
It's for the greater good. I'm going to lead you to this piece of paper and we're going to sign on the dotted line that this is how much we're going to get if a divorce happens. Simple as that. But always protect your assets.
So, I think that's quite a nice pivot into exploring what happens when things don't work out in a relationship.
Let's.
Much like ours. So the era is 2002. Britney Spears' Crossroads is released.
Love that.
A classic.
Classic.
Obviously 2002, famously the year before 2003, which is when Crazy in Love by Beyonce was released. Halle Berry becomes the first and only black woman to win Best Actress at the Oscars and also gave that iconic speech where she just was blubbering and blubbering and blubbering.
Iconic.
With that short hair.
Yeah.
Looked beautiful. Mwah. That was almost the same. I think that was the right pitch of Holly Valance Kiss Kiss, the way he just went, mwah. When I look at you, I want to be. And also, fashion trends. Jeans were underdresses. No, I actually think I've got the right pitch there with that. Belly chains and big sunglasses. When was 2006 was also big sunglasses for the wags, wasn't it?
I know I have ADHD, but this is intense. What? You've just mentioned 856 things.
What did you have me on this pod for, if not to be a pop culture encyclopedia? Is that not what I'm here for?
What?
When I look at you, I want to be. Her album was called Footprints in the Sand. It was actually really good.
Thank you so much.
The next couple we're going to look at is actor Jessica Simpson. I think actor does her a disservice. Actor...
Icon.
Chanteuse, businesswoman extraordinaire. Big time. We will get to that. Because she is in her literally bag. Bag and makeup and clothes.
Shoes,
and the
all
rest.
of it.
And dancer Nick Lachey. In 1999, Jessica and Nick get together.
Okay.
2002, the year before Crazy in Love was released by Beyonce, Jessica Simpson, 22 at the time, marries Nick Lachey, 31. Nick suggests a prenup. Jessica declines.
She says,
Because she's so in love.
Yeah.
And at this point, he was doing well for himself.
He was doing well. And
she was doing all right.
All right. But...
Listen to Adele. One thing about them tables, they go turn.
Baby.
So, in 2006... Divorce, babe, divorce. Also according to Adele.
Divorce, babe.
Nick allegedly walks away with over $10 million in assets. And I can tell you for free, he did not have that going into that.
I would cough up blood. Literal.
In 5 days, you will start to cough. 2014, so it's a while after, Jessica marries NFL player Eric Johnson. Apparently there is a prenup. Year after that, she calls her marriage to Nick one of her biggest money mistakes. More money, more problems.
I guess so.
2020, Jessica says in an interview, the funny thing is that Nick wanted me to sign a prenup and I was so offended. I was like, but we're going to be together for the rest of our lives. We're saying our vows to God in front of all our friends and family. Like, this never gonna end. And we didn't sign a prenup. I just love how minted she is now. She's done a Reese Witherspoon, like diversified so much, is liked for her entertainment talents, but...
Her
retail,
business?
clothes, handbags. She just monetized
everything
and is still continuing to eat and eat and eat.
She is the definition of like, that's how it's done. Yeah. Okay. She was known and people used to like memeify her from their like reality TV series about the tuna thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
And she just ended up...
Tuna fish. Chicken of the sea.
Chicken of the sea. She just ended up just raking it in. And listen,
and also not being taken seriously as an actress, obviously, like Dukes of Hazzard and stuff, great, but like she did. Although I think she's held 10 million records, so singing wise, she wasn't a little one-hit wonder situation.
No, but I feel like she was more of like a like an icon,
a little
vibe.
teeny bop situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. So do you think then, given the situation with her, does love make us blind to logic?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love is the most dangerous thing ever because it makes you make decisions that you wouldn't make under normal circumstances because it is an emotion and it takes over. And that's why you have to have a lawyer who just is like, honey, I understand you're in love, but I'm here to protect your money. I've got nothing to do with your relationship. I'm here to protect your assets.
Yeah.
And that's not saying, like, I agreed that probably in that relationship, maybe Nick Lachey was her sounding board for all these fantastic ideas. I don't know. You know, I can't talk about that. But I think at the end of the day, not having the prenup just wasn't smart.
I wonder if things have changed with time, because I do feel like seeing all these things happen over the last 2 decades in celeb world has meant that people our generation, whether we have money or not, just as lovers of pop culture, would be more likely to be like, yeah, prenup's not a crazy red flag bad thing. It's sensible.
Yeah, because back in the day, it used to be like, it means you're not in love.
Yeah.
It means
you made it so like
it's
clinical.
all about the money. It means that like you're expecting us to divorce. You don't love me.
Like, my mum and dad and both sets of grandparents, so both sets of grandparents until they died, and then my mum and dad are still together, are as in love as anyone could ever be. All the models I've ever seen of relationships have been really strong and great. And I'm so thankful for that. And I still am a massive cynic and just think there's no way that things last.
For me, it's not just like I'm a cynic. It's like...
Well, yeah, you don't have to be a cynic. You have to be sensible, your head's screwed on.
And also, it's principle, okay? I come into a relationship with a guy. My beautiful grandmother passes away and leaves me 6 houses, right?
Monopoly.
Also, my grandma does not have 6 houses. Love her down.
This is a theoretical
This is a
third grandma.
Yeah, theoretical rich grandma.
Yeah.
But
Manifesting.
Gammy's never too late. Let's play a lottery. Do you know what I mean?
Come on, Gammy. Come on, baby.
Anyways, so Gammy has left me 6 houses. Me and my lover are in love. He does me wrong.
What was that? What do you do?
That's
nice.
love.
Yeah, that's. That's where I'm going wrong.
That's why you're single. There's no exactly.
I'll practice.
Good. He cheats on me. He does me wrong. He does me dirty.
Oh.
Okay? I have to break out of him.
Dirty dog. Break out of him.
Break out of him.
Wow.
Break up with him.
Break up with him.
English. I have to break up with him.
You're thinking of make out. You were still back at your...
I was... Yeah. Okay. Break up with him because principle. We go to the first court date. I rock up in my tiptoey heels with a barb and glasses. With a barb.
What's your name? Be your week, so they calling you Barb.
His lawyer has the audacity to say 3 of my grandmother's houses are now his. Hold up.
Wait a minute. Let me put my 2 cents in.
Absolutely not.
That's hell.
So that's why you need to protect yourself. Anything that I will come in with inheritance that you have played no part in, you do not deserve. How dare you? Get your grimy little fingers away from my grandmother's houses.
Gammy's houses.
Gammy's 2-bed house in Kent. Leave her alone.
Anyways.
Get a prenup.
Get a prenup. I agree. I think it's difficult for people to talk about money in relationships. I also think it's a specifically British thing to not talk about money. I feel like my mates in America are so much more open about what they earn.
Whether they've got a pension, 401k.
What they do have in it.
I agree. I think the UK, when it comes to money, we're very British, aren't we? You know, and I don't know when the right time is to start talking to your potential partner about how much you earn. And I haven't got a formula for that. No. But I will say before you walk down the aisle, you should know debts, you should know income, and also what type of lifestyle you want to have with money. Because there are some people who love to splurge and spend money. And then there are some people who are like, listen, I want to do a 1-income household where we live off of your income and then my income we save and we stash it away for a rainy day. Love that. But you have to be open so that you know what type of money people you are.
What's wild to me is that all of my relationships, romantic or otherwise, function on good communication. I'm many things and I'm not many things, but I am a good communicator. And I find it so weird that some people can be in marriages and then after being married, not just this about finances, but then the conversation of kids seriously comes up and one of them goes, absolutely not. One of them goes, oh, I just presumed we'd have children. Like, how is that not something at some point that you've had? If you've gone through the rigmarole of marriage to somebody, these conversations should have been had.
Must be had.
And yet they're not.
Because they say the highest rate of divorces is because of finances, infidelity, and I'm going to lie. And
different music taste.
Shut up.
You just won't stop playing Radiohead. So unfortunately, that was the final straw. That would do it for me, far more than infidelity.
I'm taking him to court.
I'd rather you cheat than keep playing creep on repeat, 100%.
Right, okay. I'm glad your priorities are in order. Love that for you. But yeah, I think people need to talk about money.
There was an opinion piece written by Nick Abrams in NBC News, and he said, it basically feels like I've written this, which is why I love it.
Okay.
Call me an unromantic pessimist.
Yes,
okay, so c'est moi.
Yeah.
Criticise me for being too pragmatic and believing that you shouldn't let love interfere with making a wise business decision. But I say, if you've got some cash or may get some, do it, do it, do it. And this is the kicker. I love this line. It will simply be a worthless piece of paper if it all works out.
Exactly.
That is really, really good.
Exactly.
How amazing is that? I'd love for it to be such a worthless piece of paper that we can frame it and put it in the study and be like, lol, look at that we're never going to have to go by.
LOL.
And look how strong our love is and look how sensible our finances are.
Fantastic.
But look what we've also done because we're pragmatic people. I also wonder, I was thinking about this, I wonder if there is a correlation between people who are pro-prenup and who are pro all different forms of insurance. And I say that because I think it's a certain type of person that is like in their sensible bag, because that's me.
Yeah.
He continued to say, we buy car insurance not because we want to get in an accident, but because we just might. We write wills not because we expect to die soon, but because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. And we should sign prenups not because we don't expect to live happily ever after, but because the odds say it may not work out. I am an insurance person. I have it on my phone, my laptop, my boiler, my fridge. And
Everything.
I do think there's probably a correlation
Yeah.
between being that kind of risk-averse person and then the opposite of being, oh, who cares about a prenup? Oh, whatever, if my phone breaks, I'll da-da-da. But in the long run, you end up paying for it financially and other ways.
Yeah. And I think it just makes the divorce process easier as well. Like, if you get the prenup, like, that's that thing you don't really have to discuss it. Sometimes they fight, in court about the prenup. But at least you're one step further in the process than you would be if you weren't.
Also, divorces take so long. Like, again, housewives, but like the amount of times I've seen it and it's them for like a season or 2 seasons being like, the divorce still isn't finalised. And you're like, this is just shit.
Yeah. Like,
it's dragging and dragging and like it must be such a cloud over you.
Such a cloud.
Yeah, we've agreed this, but then it wasn't actually signed. So he comes back and says, no, we agreed that away from the lawyers. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, so many low down tactics that could be avoided if you just signed a piece of paper that, all being well, would be worthless anyway if it all works out.
Exactly.
I actually love that line. Nick Abrams, you ate with that. It will simply be a worthless piece of paper if it all works out. I hope people listening to this will genuinely take that into thoughts about marriage.
I agree. I think there is a correlation because I have life insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not great with my gadget insurance just because like I'm not, but
you also have a weird relationship to your gadgets, because I asked you earlier if you have an iPad and you said no, and I said I thought you did, and you went, well, I haven't used it for a week, so I see it as not owning it. I said, are you ill? Like, yes, you have an iPad. You went, well, I'm thinking of selling it, so in my head, like, I don't really own it anymore. Okay, but you last used it a week ago and you own an iPad. So, like, your understanding of gadgets and also possession, like, it worries me with regard to the law with you. If, well, it's not mine, I don't own it. Anyway.
I wasn't expecting you to out me like that, you weirdo.
I don't own an iPad. Cool. Well, I saw yours last week in this very room. So go figure. If I don't own something because I've not used it for a week, that's like 95. Do I not own most of the clothes in my wardrobe because I've not worn them since last season?
Okay, it's enough. Oh my God.
I've been away on holiday for a week. I haven't used anything in my flat. I actually don't own it anymore. Take all the food out of my fridge. It's not mine. Those apples are over a week old.
It makes sense in my head.
And no one else's. Listen to the reaction.
Back to prenups.
Yeah, back to prenups.
I think we're both agreed. We're pro-prenup. And prenups are not just for celebrities, correct?
No, and I really think they should probably be normalised a lot more.
Absolutely.
Amongst non-celebs.
Absolutely. Protect your heart.
Yeah.
Protect your assets. And then skip into the sunset, and hopefully you'll never use that piece of paper a day in your life.
Listen, I'm going to say it again because it's my favourite quote we've ever said.
You quote that man.
Listen, man.
Come on, man.
It will simply be a worthless piece of paper if it all works out.
Mic drop.
Pen drop.
Okay.
He didn't write it with a microphone, did he, Sarel? He might have written it with an iPad pen, but you wouldn't have a clue.
Okay. I think that's the end of that. Thank you so much for watching. You can listen to Famously in Love on BBC Sounds and watch us on BBC Sounds YouTube channel.
And remember, for more in-depth celeb stories and controversies, tune in to Famously on Trial with Larry Dean and Stacey Dooley.
Bye for now.